Theme park employees, what are some cool secrets about your workplace? Some Cedar Point secrets. Some of these are from friends who have worked around the park. You probably already knew this, but that $3.50 bottle of soda is $1 2 steps behind an employee gate. Same goes for most of the food in the cafeteria. On most of the larger attractions and rides, we have a system of signals and gestures to make fun of you behind your back. It keeps the long, repetitive and hot day somewhat interesting. Never, ever will we tell you what is wrong with a ride. Also, we'll never tell you when it's going to be up. The only differentiation we can make is if we're told it's going to be a multiple hour fix. At that point, we anticipate a lengthy delay. Yup, we usually know what is wrong and how long it's going to take. Employee dorms could probably double for a gay male brothel. Many times we're instructed to take cars off of a coaster simply because of attendance numbers. They don't tell us that officially. Simply no need to have 3/3 cars on the track when the park is at 50% capacity. Yep, that makes lines longer. Sorry, disaster transport $1 3D glasses are a ripoff considering how short the ride is. But you already knew that. It's fun to watch you flash the ride cameras. We block the pictures on the monitors but can still see them behind the counter. We can also unblock them. All I can think of. Not really theme park, but I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese. Secret. Pretty much everyone there hates kids with an undying fury. One time, a friend of mine started his first day and we had him in the Chuck E. costume and a kid came up and punched him in the balls. Without flinching, my friend decked the little crap right in the face. His parents weren't around so we rushed my friend to the back and told the parents the kid fell. Needless to say, my friend was fired that same day. Your friend is a hero. It is no longer available, but SeaWorld used to serve free beer. As a resident of San Diego, I would buy an annual pass for $74, drive to SeaWorld a few times a week after work, drink a few free beers, and go home. Sadly, it ended in 2009, but boy howdy was it great while it lasted. I'm glad someone had sense and did this also. It's really hard to sign the autographs in some of the costumes. In some of the characters you look through the mouth, but have to act like you're looking with the eyes of the character, which means most of their head is above your own. The heads can be really frickin' heavy and stuffy. Lilo was the worst, plus the water parks are really humid. I almost passed out. CPs at Disney World get free Gatorade. It's the yellow kind. Every Disney prince I met was a gay man. Getting free park entrance was the best part of working there. The pay was the worst. If you see a character rub their eye, it means they need to go backstage because they're going to pass out, feel sick, or are having some sort of costume malfunction. I had to do this twice as Lilo because that costume was frickin' terrible. It's Powerade, not Gatorade. Coke sponsorship, remember, and it's yellow for a reason. Red looks too much like blood when you puke it up. How many of you have had your plans ruined by some meddling kids and their dog? Only the once, but I had my revenge. Let's just say I know exactly how and why Scrappy-Doo never made it to adulthood. I used to work at a place called Camelot Theme Park. It's a modest place in the northwest of England. It was also my first job. I was rides operator, but worked in what they called Section 1, which was the part of the park with all the kids' rides. Years before work there, some employee was apparently killed after being hit by a roller coaster during safety checks, but I'm not sure how much of that is myth. Anyway, relating to the how things work bit in this question, there was a ride there that had been around since it opened in the mid-80s known as the Caterpillar Apple Ride. The cart train was modeled on a giant caterpillar and it went through a big red apple halfway around the track. It was aimed at toddlers and small kids really, but by god it was the most primitive roller coaster I've ever seen. Apart from the chain that pulled it up to the top of the main dip, it ran completely on gravity, and to start the ride you released the brakes, which were clamps on the tracks, not the cart itself, and literally had to push it out of the station. If you didn't push it hard enough it would slow down and stop before the foot of the hill and you'd have to call maintenance to get the stranded people out. My first day operating the ride, the brakes were faulty. It was only meant to go round the track twice. I ended up making it go round 15 times. I went once for about 5 minutes. My mum thought it was really chavvy there. I was so pee at her. Here are some secrets from the wizarding world of Harry Potter. The costumes worn by the team members were designed by Potter costume designer Janie Tamine. Some of the Hogwarts costumes worn by TMs working Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey were actually used in the films and worn by extras. TMs working Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey are sorted into houses based on their height. Universal operations, merchandise and food service TMs may usually wear their work wardrobe home. However, the Wizarding World wardrobe items are the only wardrobe items that these TMs may not take home. TMs caught doing so will be immediately terminated and may face criminal charges for theft and IP theft if they do so. After the Three Broomsticks restaurant was designed, the real film set was altered to more closely resemble the theme park restaurant. The male dress robes seen in the Gladrags Wizarding Wear storefront are the same ones worn by Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The female dress robes are an exact replica of the ones worn by Emma Watson in the same film. I didn't work at a theme park, but my high school English teacher worked for Disneyland while he was in college and told us stories a lot. He said Chip and Dale were the most disgusting guys ever and would have contests to see who could grope the most MILFs in a day. My buddy got thrown out of Disneyland for punching Dale after he groped his wife. At WDW's Magic Kingdom, the food served in the employee cafeteria, or mouseketeria, is not the same food served to the guests. It's run by Aramark Food Services and is much worse. There's a Subway restaurant down there they also run, but they don't participate in any national Subway promotions. $5 footlongs? Nope. Still, it's cheaper than the food served topside. And if you're caught taking food from the cafeteria to the top, especially if you're buying it for visiting family or friends who are playing in the park, you can be fired. Spent a summer working games at Hersheypark. Not the most exciting things to be learned, but here we go. All of the popular games have cameras installed in them. That means ring toss. Ring toss is for cameras. It's because if the attendant gets distracted and a ring lands on the outer two ring of bottles, you have to call it in. People notoriously have little kids lean over and just place it and try and guilt the attendant into giving away big ass bears. When you play Wacky Winding Wires, by July, all of the new employees can beat that game. Does not mean we will bend the rules if we hear that annoying buzzer, but it also doesn't mean we can't tell you which game station has a smaller ring or larger ring. It can make a large difference. Only one place in the entire park sells beer, and that is the Minetown Cafe right by the Great Bear. Check out the smoothie place in the food court area. They are amazing and vastly underrated. Every year, 1% of all profits from Hersheypark and Hershey's chocolate goes to the Milton Hershey School, which was originally a school for orphans, but will now also help kids whose parents can't afford to send them to school. This means the school will never go bankrupt. Ever. That school is worth over $1 billion. If you live somewhere close to Hersheypark, make friends with the employees. They get 2 free tickets per paycheck, 15% off everything in the park, and 25% off everything in Chocolate World. This means make friends with an employee, give them your money and make them buy your chocolate for you. Employees can buy the prizes in the game stalls. I know you're thinking, who'd buy a shitty ass dolphin that costs less than a nickel to makes? But beloved giant ass teddy bears as big as them, and they make great birthday gifts. Does not mean we can buy them for guests. This can get us fired. If you are thirsty but also a cheapskate, food vendors can give out free cups of water. Employees have their own cafe outside the park, and it's got all the foods we serve in park, minus the delicious smoothies GRR, at like 75% off. Those $8 burgers are only $2 and are made to order, unlike the generic cheeseburger you get in park. We also had a weekly meals such as Salisbury steak, breakfast for lunch, etc. I worked for a long time at Santa's Village in Sky Forest, California. It's closed now, but it was pretty famous to Southern Californians at the time. There was a dead rat in the nacho machine, under the metal slope that holds the chips, at the Pixie Pantry for at least a year. We had dead rats pretty much everywhere, just out of sight. The deep fryer oil in the Pixie Pantry was never changed. The insects were just scooped out with a mesh spoon. All the burgers were cooked in the morning and kept in a bucket of water until someone ordered one. Most of the order fresh food vendors were clean enough. Santa Claus was a huge chain smoker. He smelled horrible. The B monorail was known to catch on fire. The bobsled coaster derailed at least once. sending the riders to the hospital. We had a similar accident with the horse-drawn carriage. I don't think any ride operators were actually trained for emergencies. Kids puke a lot. You probably already knew that. I worked last summer for Valleyfair, a park in Minnesota owned by the people who own Cedar Fair. These aren't as cool as the Disney World ones, but I have a few. Behind the Renegade coaster is an original Edsel Ranger sitting on a grassy hill. I don't know what it's for and no one there I asked seems to know either. Buy a season pass. As of last year, parking is included, and they cost $60 at the beginning of the season. Regular admission is $48 and parking is $10. Our lifeguards are completely incompetent. They get audited randomly throughout the season, where the company stages an emergency and the guards have to save someone. Almost all of them fail and have to go through training again. People lose a ton of money on rides. I worked in park services, park cleanup, and once found $28 in a day just in bills dropped from a roller coaster. The auditions for characters are tough. To be a face character, they line you up and analyze your bone structure before they do anything else. If your figure, height and bone structure aren't right, you don't even get to go any further in the audition. It's fun though. Plus the underground passages in the main park, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, are pretty awesome, but can be creepy. They aren't all bright and colorful. It's a tunnel system, not an attraction. My childhood nearly fell to pieces when I saw a bench with my favorite characters' heads all lined up in a row on it. I went to school with a girl named Jasmine who looked freakishly like Princess Jasmine. Then she grew up, became a dancer singer, and performed as Princess Jasmine at Tokyo Disney. Being from Orlando, I have worked all the theme parks. Since this thread is overwhelmed with Disney facts, I will instead tell you something about my employment with Wet n Wild. If an attractive, large-busted woman was at the top of the slide, the guy working at the bottom of the ride would give the secret boob signal for the lifeguard up top. This was code for the lifeguard to send her down the slide with her hands interlocked behind her head instead of her arms folded across her chest. If a person's arms are folded across the chest, this method prevents wardrobe malfunctions, which is a reason why it is the policy to do so. Because when the hands are interlocked behind the head, it prevents the said female from covering her escaping breasts. It goes without saying that this led to optimal boobage for the lifeguard waiting below. Oh, to reminisce on those scenes, me gawking at those helpless girls through my mirrored sunglasses as they failed to realize that their bosom was exposed for all to see. In retrospect, this may have been an inappropriate use of power. And it's too late, I've already seen it all. At my park, we spared no expense. We told the public that we breed all the dinosaurs on our island, but that just isn't true. When you are working with such volatile things as extinct animals, the yield isn't 100%, so we actually do most of our breeding and research on a second island a few miles away. You have been visited by the soul of Gabe the dog. Comment sleep well papa. You will be missed for heavenly walks throughout your whole life. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.